Yes, it's Friday.
Friday night's gonna be alright. It's gonna be right. It's gonna be alright now, baby. Friday night.
Hey, hello. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I hope you're all doing really well out there, wherever you might be on this Friday night or whatever weekday you're watching this. I want to start out things here before we go into the topic for tonight by saying a huge thank you to all of you who recently subscribed to my channel. In the last couple of weeks, I got some new subscribers, and I can't thank you enough. It means so much for me as a small channel here on YouTube that you want to be part of this music journey that I'm on and hear a Swedish guy jap about music and sometimes speaking Swinglish to you all. Yeah. I'm really, really thankful for all of you. And that goes for all of you, of course, who already subscribed to my channel. You know, you're always near and dear to me. So a huge thank you to all of my subscribers. Yeah, so tonight's topic then. Well, it's a challenge, and it's only, at least to my recollection, the second challenge I ever done here on my channel. Can't even talk. It's all about the VC or the vinyl community here on YouTube. They create a lot of interesting threads or challenges, call it what you want, throughout the year, really. And my friend Jen over at Jen's Addiction, she hooked on to some of these challenges, and I always thought it sounds great. I want to do that as well. But hey, time is in really short supply sometimes, or most of the time. So I really had to pick my battles here. But earlier this week, something came up on another channel here on YouTube, and that is the Vinyl Narrative. And it's Cam over on the Vinyl Narrative that created this challenge. And as you already seen from the title of this video, it's 5 records that I would never sell. Yeah, so it's all about if you could pick 5 records from your record collection that was meant something special to you and something that you would never sell under any circumstances, what records would that be? Well, in my collection, there's not many records that I really wanted to sell, but it does happen from time to time when I come across some records in my record collection that I'm like, I haven't listened to this one for years and years. And is it really possible that I'm going to listen to this one in the near future? No. In that case, I'll purge some records from my record collection. But these 5 records are ones that I would never separate from ever. I would never sell these records at all. That's what the challenge is all about. And if you want to go and visit Cam's channel, The Vinyl Narrative, I got a link down in the description, and I highly, highly recommend that you do that. I thoroughly enjoy his channel. I just became a subscriber a couple of weeks ago, but I really enjoyed every single video that I saw from Cam. So please go and check out The Vinyl Narrative. So now, without any further ado, let's go into my 5 records that I would never sell under any circumstances. And we'll start with one that was released in 2011, actually. So it's not that long ago, really, but that doesn't matter. It's still near and dear to me. It is The Beach Boys and Smile. Yeah. So, I'm not going to be very lengthy about any of these, but I just have to give you a background. Why is this so important to me? Well, pre-2011, before I got this one, the Beach Boys to me were surf music, nothing really up my alley at all. Of course, I heard a couple of tracks from Pet Sounds at the time, and I thought, that was good. It's not surf music, at least. But I came across an article in 2011 that were talking about Smile, the Smile Sessions, and I never heard about this album. And it turns out it was an album that was never released. Yeah. So back, was it 1967? It must have been, when Brian Wilson decided to make a follow-up to Pet Sounds, an even more groundbreaking record, really, called Smile. And for reasons that I won't go into here today, because it's quite a lengthy story, but Brian Wilson checked out. He gave up on the Smile sessions and it was shelved. But just imagine if this one came out at the time, it would have been mind-blowing, because this is truly mind-blowing stuff. So I read the article about all the ups and downs about the recording sessions for this one and how it was never released. And I'm always intrigued by stories like that. So I was like, the Beach Boys and Smile and everything they described wasn't what I perceived the Beach Boys to be. So I got really interested. So I looked up a couple of tracks that was released before the album in question came out. And I think it was Cabin Essence and I think Surf's Up. And I was like, this is brilliant stuff. And then I started listening to more, because there was some bootlegs circulating at the time on the World Wide Web. So I got hold of some of those and I was like, this is not the Beach Boys that I thought the Beach Boys were. Yeah. Does that make sense? Yeah. So anyhow, I was like, yeah, I'm going to buy this album, Smile. And at the time, they released a box set, the Smile Sessions. And this is it. It's at least the lid for it. And that's where I got this one from. So at some point I was thinking of talking about the box set, but I was like, no, this is the heart of it. This is the double album that they were meant to release back in 1967, I think it was, yeah. So said and done, I bought the box set. And why did I buy the box set? Because you could buy just the vinyl album or the CD. Yeah, because the box set includes all the outtakes, or not all, but a lot of outtakes and silly stuff around the recording sessions. And after reading that article and listening so much to stuff from this album, from bootlegs and things like that, I was like, yeah, I need to listen to that as well. Yeah, so that's why I got the box set, and this one was of course included in that. So this is my representation of Smile. This is, like I said, the heart, the core of it all, and it is a double album with a beautiful gatefold. There we go, the guys in Beach Boys, and what an album! And it's not just because it's an outstanding album that it's so important to me. It's also because this changed the way I was actually listening to music as well. Because I've been quite narrow-minded going from the 80s and into the 90s and then into the 2000s by just listening to basically pop, electronic dance music, anything that had a synthesizer and a drum machine in it, really. Anything that was guitar-based, I was of course listening to some guitar-based things, but not very much. I was highly allergic to some of it. And some of it I never really gave a chance, so I don't know how I could be allergic to it. But anyhow, this changed it all, because this is, well, we have some synthesizers in here, but you know what I mean. This is more guitar-based music, the beautiful harmonies, of course, Brian Wilson's absolutely stunning arrangements. So this was the album that really opened up a whole new universe for me, where I eventually was going more into listening to guitar-based music more than I did before, at least. So discovering true hard rock records through Saxon and some UFO even. Yeah, you might not believe it, but that's the case. And also going into Paul McCartney's solo records as well, and discovering those ones. No, so this was really the gateway for me back in 2011. It opened up a whole new perspective to me when it comes to listening and buying music. Yeah, I could talk in length about that album, but yeah, that's the reason why I would never sell that one. So over to my second one, and this is an album from 1975, 1985 was it released, I think. Kraftwerk. Radioaktivitet, or radioactivity as it was called in English. But as you can see, this is a Radioaktivitet, so this is an original German pressing, and I think I got acquainted with Kraftwerk, must have been in 1983 when they released Tour de France. And I got a tape from a very dear friend of mine with some Kraftwerk on it. So it was tracks from the Man Machine, the Computer World, and Tour de France, of course. And I loved it. And then he started talking about, well, you know, they made albums before this one as well. So I still hadn't listened to Trans-Europe Express, for example, and certainly not Radioaktivitet before. So when we were at the local record store one day, it just happens to be on the same week when, as they said in the local record store, I still remember it to today, they said there was this old hippie guy that had this big collection of Kraftwerk records and Neu records and things like that, and what some people refer to krautrock, perhaps. He sold off his whole collection. So in that record shop, they had several different editions of Radioaktivitet, Autobahn, and so forth and so on. So it was like a treasure trove going into that store. And this just happened to be the first album I picked up then. This was my first physical copy of a Kraftwerk album. And it is, like I said, the original pressing from Germany. And if you're curious, here you go. That's the label. Kling Klang Schallplatten. Yes. And not only that, this one also came with a sticker sheet. Here we go. Not many stickers left. When I bought this one, it had a couple of more stickers on it, but during the years, I peeled some of these off and put them on other stuff. And you might call that crazy, but hey, that's what you're supposed to do with stickers, right? But at least I got these 5 stickers left, and they are absolutely beautiful stickers from this album. And what an album it is. I mean, it's all about the radio waves that surrounds us, and some of the waves that could be a bit harmful to us, the radioactivity of it all. So it's not only about her, because I think a lot of people misinterpret this by saying, oh, it's all about, you know, the dangers of radioactivity. No, it's all about the radioactivity, the airs in the waves, the waves in the air, and all of that. And that's why we have this depiction of a radio here. And on the back, you got the back of this old German radio as well. So it's both about the radiation in the air and the waves in the air. The airwaves. Yeah. What an absolutely fantastic album. And coming from Tour de France back in 1983 and listening to some of the things from Man Machine and Computer World, this is worlds apart. This is highly experimental stuff, very atmospheric stuff as well, pun intended. And it just blew me away, because it was nothing like the Kraftwerk that I knew back then. So, yeah, great stuff. I would never sell this one. It's near and dear to me. My first ever Kraftwerk album that I bought. Yeah. Radioaktivitet. And now we go to 1994 and to an artist that I didn't listen very much to at all back in 1994. This is Liz Phair and her second album, Whip Smart. Yeah. So back in 1994, I think she released Supernova as a single. I remember seeing that a couple of times on MTV and things like that. And it was just something that passed me by. I can't remember being over the moon for anything Liz Phair really at the time. But a couple of years ago, when this one was re-released, by pure chance, I came across some Liz Phair tracks on Spotify and started listening to them, because I was like, yeah, Liz Phair, she was like an indie darling back in the 90s. I knew that much. So I was like, I never listened to her. So I was like, yeah, let's have a crack on it. And I think that was from the first album, Exile in Guyville. And then eventually I came to this one. I thought the first album, by the way, was really good. But then I came to this one and it was like a warm blanket for me. It was a time when I probably just needed this kind of music, and I just fell in love with this album. It's an absolutely stunning album. And like I said, it's that warm, cozy blanket for me, really. Great lyrics, and the whole thing just spoke to me at the time. So yeah, we're just talking a couple of years ago, really. But that's when I got into Liz Phair, and I never looked back. Yeah, so I have to pick this one as one of the albums that I would never, ever get rid of. Whipsmart with Liz Phair. And I don't know if this one came out on vinyl back in 1994, because it was mostly CDs back then. But this one, as you can see, was reissued on vinyl, and it comes in this beautiful gatefold cover here. That's what it looks on the back. The vinyl, nothing fancy. It's just a black colored vinyl. But most importantly, what's on that vinyl record? Whew. Great stuff. Whipsmart, Liz Phair. And now to the fourth record that I would never get rid of from my record collection. This is Cabaret Voltaire. And this is live at the YMCA, the 27th of October, 1979. And nothing much to show here, really. It looks like it's just been stamped here. It's a live recording, recorded with a simple tape recorder at the time. And no, it's not a bootleg, even if it sounds like it. It is a really crappy recording, this one. And the story is as follows. A friend of mine had this album back in probably mid or late 80s. I can't really remember. And we used to listen to this from time to time. And of course we could say straight away that this is a crappy recording. I remember I laughed at it sometimes because you could hardly hear what they were saying or what they were playing, because it was such a lousy recording. And but over time it grew on us, because at first I think we played it just for laughs, really, and then after a while, at least for me, it started to grow on me. And it was like, because it was so gritty with that crappy recording, and the music in itself was very gritty and hard and cold and all of that. It's early Cabaret Voltaire we're talking about here. So I started to warm to it, really. So a couple of years after the fact, this friend of mine, he was selling a couple of his records, and I said, if you ever want to sell that Cabaret Voltaire, I'll be interested. And I remember he said to me, well, I didn't think you liked that one. We used to laugh at that one, or you thought it was pretty crappy. And I said, well, it is a crappy one, but there is something, there is a pull to it. It draws me in. Over the years, I got accustomed to it. It was part of, I think, both me and my friend, what we had listening to music and all that. This was just one part of it. But it was also this strange music from this crappy recording. Because to me at the time, I had listened to Cabaret Voltaire to, Microphonies or The Crackdown, things like that. And it's miles apart when it comes to what they were doing back in 1979, of course. So it was more basic, more experimental, really, back then. So I think, looking back to it on it now and listening back to this one now, it really gels. It gels very well, the crappy recording and the harsh, gritty sounds of Cabaret Voltaire in 1979. So really, it is a perfect record. Yeah. And like I said, it's not a bootleg, even if you would think so with that crappy recording. It was actually released on Rough Trade at the time. So it is an official release from them. But the one that I got, it's actually on an Italian label called Go International. Yeah. And this is also the original one. This is the one that I bought from my friend back then. And I'm not laughing today when I'm listening to it. Well, I can chuckle a bit because I remember it brings back a lot of memories to me, and that's part of why I think it's so great. But I can appreciate a lot of the tracks here. They actually do a Velvet Underground cover on this one, even if you can't really hear it. It's Here She Comes Now, I think it's called. And you also got other great tracks, original tracks by Cabaret Voltaire here, like Nag Nag, or Nag Nag Nag, and Bader Meinhof as well. Yeah, so a lot of great tracks, and that's why I would never sell this one. So many great memories attached to it, and it grew on me over the years, and I understood why it was released, or at least in my mind that's why it was released, because they're so gritty, and so is the recording and all that. And the last record that I want to show you guys is from 1984, and it's this one. It's Frankie Goes to Hollywood and Welcome to the Pleasure Dome, the double album. Yes, and I was a big Frankie fan back in the day, still am a big Frankie fan, but I was even bigger. I was fanatic when it came to Frankie Goes to Hollywood back in the day. Discovered them in 1984 through Two Tribes, their second single, and then in late October in 84 this one was released. But I had to wait until Christmas Eve until I got this one. But then this was the Christmas present for me that year. I was so stoked to get this one. I mean, a double album, and up until this point, they only released 3 singles, really. So I was like, what could the rest of it contain? I was so curious, and I played this so much throughout the years. This is the original one. Since then, I bought reissues and some second-hand copies that are in better nick than this one, because you can see here it's been well played, so it's got a lot of scuffs and other things on the sleeve itself. The records themselves are not in the best shape. As another example, look at this inlay. Since then, I put the records in a different in a bag, but they are just falling apart, really. But it's near and dear to me. It's the copy. It's my copy that I got on Christmas Eve back in 1984, and I treasured this one. And like I said, I played it so much on my crappy record player back then. What can I say? Frank Goes to Hollywood's debut album, a double one, so much to delve into as a kid, as a 13-year-old back in 1984. Love this stuff, and I still do. It carries so many memories for me. And spoiler, we have a reason to come back to this one on my channel a bit later in the beginning of November. Yeah. So look out for that. But that was my 5 records that I would never sell from my record collection. And of course, I could have just carried on here because I have so many records that I would never sell. But I thought this was a great challenge, because the challenge was for me to pick 5 records that had at least somewhat of an interesting backstory. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this one. And I also want to thank once more Cam from The Vinyl Narrative for creating this challenge. It was a great fun one to do. And as a reminder, down in the description, we have a link to The Vinyl Narrative. So go and check out Cam's channel. It's great stuff. I'm going to be back next Friday as usual, and I can say today that it will be a follow-up to my 7-inch collection, the second and final part of that. I did the first part a couple of weeks ago, and I asked you if you want to see more. I didn't get much comments on that, but the comments that I did get said, yes, we want to see a second part. So next Friday, I will delve into my final part of my 7-inch collection. Yeah, so you have that to look forward to on next Friday night. And who knows, there will be something in between as well during next week. I will review the new single by Project K and Magenta Soulstar, so that will be coming up. I'm going to edit that one this weekend. But now I want to say thank you all for watching yet another video, and until next time, you stay cool, you keep playing that music, and take care of yourselves. And now we're going to let Danny round off things for us as usual. But before that, also as usual, I want to give you a really heartfelt adieu.
Movie rolls on, there ain't no more love scenes, the romance is gone. But it's a one-man show, it's moving real slow, but it's picking up speed as I'm turning the key. Coming up, coming up, coming up.